So picture this. In Warwick, Rhode Island, they have this huge citywide party every single year to celebrate fighting against a king. But here's the twist. While everyone's looking back at history, a brand new kind of power is being locked down in their own city hall. And, it's happening at the absolute worst possible time for the city's finances. This is what we're calling Warwick's paradox. And to really get it, you gotta see these two completely different things that are happening at the exact same time. Well, you'll see. Okay, so on one hand, you've got Gatsby Days. It's this massive 50-year-old tradition all about celebrating independence and saying no thanks to a king. But then on the other hand, what's happening next week? The city council president is about to get a whole lot more power, basically centralizing control over the entire council. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. The irony is just incredible. Now, this whole political power play isn't just happening out of the blue. No, it's going down right as some major financial alarm bells are starting to ring for the city. And the people ringing them, yeah, they're the ones you really need to pay attention to. A huge red flag just got thrown up by S&P Global. Now, if you don't know, these are the folks who literally grade how healthy a city's finances are. And let me tell you, when S&P talks, Wall Street listens, and that has a direct impact on every single taxpayer's wallet. And here it is, the main event. S&P has officially downgraded Warwick's bond credit rating. It's basically the financial world's way of putting up a big, flashing sign that says, hey, we're getting worried about how this city is handling its money. So, what does a downgrade really mean for you or for anyone living in Warwick? Well, think of it like your personal credit score suddenly taking a nosedive. Now, anytime the city needs to borrow money for, fixing roads, building schools, anything essential, it's going to cost more. And guess who pays for that extra cost? Yep, the taxpayers. And S&P didn't just pull this out of thin air. They pointed to a bunch of things that are piling up. You've got ongoing budget messes in the school department, which, by the way, is now being watched by the state. The city's overall debt is climbing, and then there are these huge retirement costs looming in the future. It's a lot. So with all this financial heat coming down, you'd think the city council would be focused on that, right? Well, their big response seems to be changing the rules to concentrate power in a way we haven't seen before. So here's the actual power shift. Council President Anthony Sinapi is about to become, for all intents and purposes, the king of the council. He's being handed the power to remove anyone he wants from their committees. That is a massive change, and it's a surefire way to make sure dissenting voices are silenced. And this new power? Oh, it's not just some theoretical thing they're putting in the rule book for later. Nope. It looks like it's going to be used right away, and it's aimed squarely at the person in charge of watching the city's money. And the first casualty of this new rule is expected to be Councilman Ed Ladouceur. He's on the chopping block to be removed as the chairman of the Finance Committee. The one committee whose entire job is to keep an eye on how every single dollar gets spent. Now, this is why his removal is such a big deal. Sources describe Councilman Ladouceur as the only person on that council who consistently questions spending and actually fights for the taxpayers. He's the outcast, right? The lone wolf who's willing to stand up and say, hey, wait a minute. So you really have to stop and ask yourself, at the very moment the city is being warned that it's in financial trouble, why on earth would you get rid of the one guy known for being the fiscal watchdog? This move could basically muzzle any real opposition to the city's tax and spend policies. And this is where all the pieces of the puzzle just click together. You've got a city heading into a financial storm, and at this critical moment, the council's big move is to consolidate power and weaken the very oversight that's needed most. Look, these aren't four separate problems. They're all connected. You've got the credit downgrade, the school budget crisis, the very real threat of tax hikes, and now you're changing who holds the power to even ask questions about it all. It is, quite literally, a perfect storm. So it all comes down to this one final question. In a city that was born from rejecting a king, it looks like they're about to sideline their financial watchdog just as a new council king is being crowned. And for the taxpayers of Warwick, you have to wonder, what does that mean for the future? It's a paradox, and it is definitely one worth watching.